Welcome to Angelo's Tennis. And this is I'm not trying to say it, Alafia Ayeni, and this is a match against Caruso at a Cleveland Challenger. And I'm bringing this up because this Ayeni saw one of my TikToks that he was in. And I made a joking kind of comment or a joking caption there that must have triggered him or offended him, and it got him to comment on the video. And I'll show you the comment on the screen there. And I sent him a message, and I asked him if he wanted to do a consultation with me. We can talk about this match. We can have a little conversation about it. Of course, he did not respond. So I thought, I'm going to bring the conversation to you guys so it can benefit, maybe it can benefit one of you. We can talk a little bit of tennis here. So there's one thing in this, I'm going to play it here. There's one thing really that I wanted to focus on in that, or I would focus on in that call. Everything else is fine. I'm going to get into a little bit more just for you guys for teaching purposes, but specific to Ayeni and this match and what I think could be changed that will help him tremendously. I'm going to get to later in the video. So let's get into it. Here it is. He's up 1-0. And I'll tell you a little bit more about this guy if you don't know as we're going through the video here. He's got a really good serve. It's really big. I think he had like 14. And these statistics aren't exact. It's close. They're close to these numbers. Somewhere around 13 or 14 aces. I think he had like 7 or 8 double faults, which I'm okay with. I haven't really talked too much about this on my channel. About double faults. I really could care less about double faults, especially with a guy like this who's going to have 14 aces in a 2-set match. That's another thing. It's not 14 aces in 3 sets. It's 7 per set. Now, there was a tiebreak in the second set, but that's a lot of aces. And you can see him serve here. When we get back to his serve is big. This court is fast. I can tell you right now, this court is probably fast. It's my guess as an onlooker. I've never played there. You can see tremendous athleticism from this guy. But this serve. He does a lot of serve and volley too, which would be interesting to as far as training, because I think he can improve on a serve and volley. But really, it's hard to tell. Let's back it up here. It's hard to tell like this one here in these videos, because being on the court, some of these balls might be harder than they look. So we can take a look here. And this wasn't what I was getting at, but just something here. He's coming in, he's doing this serve and volley. And he kind of like goes for the volley, and you can see him there. He's got like, he's kind of like mocking or imitating the volley. And this is something that my method that I talk about, it isn't my method, but the method I focus on primarily is this training with targets. You can see him here. He's kind of like going into it like it's another volley, just like a standard volley, and he's not really tracking the ball. Otherwise, he would have hit a half volley here. He would have let that bounce and made the half volley, or at least made contact with it. So that's something that I see that could be going on there, that he could have made that. But again, you also have to consider nerves and how the body, which I haven't talked about this on my channel either, how the body reacts in these situations, which we as onlookers don't know without actually talking to the player. And the player has to be self-aware of that as well. But this is something that's not considered when people are critiquing tennis, especially tennis where there's spectators and an umpire and cameras. But here he is. He's up 3-2. And by the way, Sell does this tremendously well. At this point, he's in his early 30s. He's going to probably, if he's worked on this, he's going to have more of a level of mastery over this than his opponent, who's like 25 right now. So it's definitely something you can work on to get better at by putting yourself in these situations. Here he is, 3-3 and let's back it up here. Sell gets the break. And this is where he loses. Pretty much this is where he loses the first set. So it's 3-3. He's down 40-15. See, the highlights here just go straight to 40-15. Gets it to 40-30. Oh, then it goes to add. Okay, this is his ad. Now, not sure. This is kind of alluding to what I'm going to get to later on. Not sure if this was a second serve or a first serve. But when you're playing a guy like Sell, you have to be cognizant of this when you're playing someone or who you're playing against. Because if you've been following Carew, he comes through in the clutch a lot. This is part of the reason why he's doing so well and why he potentially could do well. Because he comes through in these clutch moments, these 3-alls, 4-alls. And knowing that, if you know that and you're a Yaney, even if this is a second serve, you're not going to lay one in like that. Because he's going to come through in the clutch. He's going to do something like that. And what I'm saying is, if he's cognizant of that, he's going to hit his first serve twice. And it doesn't matter if he double faults, because you can see here, he's going to lose anyway. Because of his opponent, because of who his opponent is. And this kind of thing, so you can see, here it is again. He gets another shot at it. Sorry for the delay. He gets another shot at it. Same thing, lays one in there. So, two chances. And he didn't really learn from his mistake there. I don't think he's aware of that as being a mistake, because this is not taught. So it goes down 4-3. Again, stick with me. It's coming second set. Towards the end of the second set, we're really going to see it. It goes down 5-3, and then he looks like he might lose. He might get broken twice, but it doesn't matter. And you can see he's kind of sliding there, which is another thing. As we get later in this video, he's starting to complain about his shoes. Now, I don't know if they're new shoes or what. But if they are new shoes, again, which you'll see later here, that the shoes are irrelevant. All the sliding and the athleticism is great. Now you can see here, he's only at 2 double faults at this point. But all the athleticism is great. It's all extra to me. It's not really doing anything, because it really comes down to the serve and the return. Just want to add one more thing we can add here. Again, I don't know the difficulty of that ball, but it doesn't look like it's that difficult. He's on the stretch here, and this is what a big guy can practice. Right here, that ball needs to land right here. Just catch it. Catch it right there. Loop it right there. And doesn't even really make contact. But it could have been a tough, really tough ball. Sell goes up 1-0. There's an ace. I mean, you can see for most of the match, he's sliding pretty fine anyway. You know, really, I do think, like, as we get closer here to the end, which I'm going to get into, the nerves. And, like, here's where you can't hear it in the volume, but he's complaining about his shoes. When I say nerves, it could just be, I think he's lost to Sell before. And, you know, Sell's a higher ranked player, so there's some pressure there. Let's watch this again. This comes down to, like, this idea of self-awareness. I mean, he's probably not getting that ball. And even if he does get it, he's still probably going to lose the point. And Sell serving on top of that. So, you know, to get down on yourself there because of your shoes or whatever is going on is, you know, something that can be ignored. Certainly not something to get negative about. Again, having that self-awareness that Sell is serving and you're in a very, very defensive position, you're probably going to lose the point anyway. So it's 32-1 Sell. He's probably going to hold. See there, you can see his ability on the serve. 2-all. As I talked about Sell being clutch, he's not going to, if he's not having a bad day, he's going to routinely win serve. And he might give you, like a lot of these guys, they might give you 1 or 2 opportunities. So fast forward here, I think he goes up. I think he goes 3-all. He does. Sells up 30 love. Nice point here. Again, hard to say. Hard to really say, but one of the things I would focus on with this guy is passing shots. This would be like one of my top 5 things to practice on a regular basis. Passing shots. Because he's going to be in a lot of these situations, and this is where he can steal points. And I would do it. If you've seen, I'm not sure if I have a passing shot video yet, but this would be my target right here, or right here, or right here. And I'd work that in really difficult situations because he wasn't even aiming at those targets. But again, I always want to repeat. It's really hard. When you're criticizing somebody, it's not a blanket statement there. It's just something that I would practice because of who he is as a player. Along with the serve and volley. So here he's down 4-3. Fast forward here. This video is getting kind of long. It's going to be 6-all. There's a nice serve and volley. Watch this game here. He's here is tie break. Here he's in tie break. You can see the serve starting to fall apart. I want to back up one more. I skipped something here. He was up in the tie break. He was up 5-2. They're not showing it here. He was up 5-2. And then his serve kind of fell apart. It's 5-all. Here it is right here. I can't turn up the volume, but what happened was he yells out. This is how I know what's in his head. And it could be emotional, but it's more like I know what he's thinking. I know how his thinking is here. He hits this serve. It's 5-all, hits the net, and he yells out, "Got to make a first serve." Okay? And my thing is, at his level and his game and everything, like you're only going to get a couple opportunities. There is no first serve. They're both first serves for the most part, especially in this scenario. You're not going to hit a second serve as far as making it that much different from the first because Sell is going to take advantage of it anyway, so it doesn't matter. And you can see here, he misses that outburst. He just completely misses, not even close. And if he would have went into that, just positively thinking 5-all, first serves all the way. First serves the whole tie break, right? He might have had a chance to win this tie break. And that's the mind shift. That's the thinking differently that a lot of these guys don't have, that need. This idea, you can see Sell goes on to win. This idea that there is such a thing as a second serve. You're telling me this guy can't make 1 out of 2? And it also takes the pressure off when it comes to nerves and things like that. When you start to think this way, there is no first serve. So when you miss a first serve, there's no reason to get upset. This idea that first serve percentage matters, okay? This is wrong thinking. This is thinking that's going to, psychologically mess with you. Especially at this level. So just kind of a mind shift there. I'm not going to get into complete details of it. If you don't get it, you know, maybe check my channel out in the future, make some comments. I'll try to explain it a little bit better than that, but that's what I saw. That's what I saw in this match. And that's the big difference maker right there. That thinking differently and getting rid of that old-fashioned first serve percentage.